What's up, everybody? Today we're going to be talking about the 315 PTU. Was recently pushed out to everybody that's a backer in the verse, so there's a lot of newcomers here now. We're going to go over some of the new features as we encountered them and some of my first thoughts, at least, as it currently stands now in the PTU. There may be updates further down the road. And one of those big things was inventory. That's definitely, right off the bat, you'll notice it. So let's just get right to it here. So, as I said, first thing I noticed was, really it started with trying to take my helmet off. I was unable to, the hotkey didn't work that we had set up. So, basically, you have to actually go into your inventory by selecting I. And from here, you can, manually drag and drop items on and off of your inventory. As you can see here, that's how you actually take your helmet off. The right-hand side is going to be the local inventory. I believe that's going to be per planetary area or district, basically. So you have Machini Point and ArcCorp, so Area 18 and Machini Point. You can both access this particular inventory. At least that's where I set my primary residence. So there was a lot of my gear was here at this time. You can see here you can also, I liked what they did for attaching individual items to gear, as well as when you take that gear off, it does take all of those items off with it. You don't have to do it one by one, or you're not going to drop anything there, so that does work as well. They did add backpacks to the system, or to the verse rather. You can get different size backpacks even, so you definitely want to go out and try to find the large backpacks. I believe they hold over 100k in there. That's enough to fit your helmet. If you're somewhere that you don't want to be leaving equipment behind or anything, you can stuff it in your backpack while you're in the station or something quick. Another thing I encountered that I thought was a little weird, but I kind of get it because it's on the PTU. Maybe it's just a whole different setup, but the HOTAS setup, I did have to go through and redo that. So if you're using flight sticks, you may want to look into that before you get into the ship. It was something I didn't encounter until after. As we get to it, basically what I wanted to do when we got into 315 was go through step by step what I'll be doing once the wipe happens. They did end up giving us 15 million, so you can try out all the ships and whatnot, but I just wanted to test and make sure what I'm going to be doing is working and log stuff accordingly if it wasn't, because it's I just wanted to make sure. Coming out of the adventure, one thing I did notice is they seem to have added a flip down TV screen for me here. I don't know if that was just me or what, but it's I was like, hey, and that kind of prompted me to look around a little bit more. I'm like, hey, maybe they've added stuff, so started clicking on anything that was shiny or looked like it might be a panel, but didn't notice anything right off the bat, at least with anything that's changed. I wasn't able to interact with any of these system modules, or none of these real doors or what looked like doors worked. So did click on that. If you guys noticed anything that's changed, let me know, but I did not. Everything kind of seems the same to me. Getting into more of what we were coming here for, so I did want to check out looting as well. That's another one of the newer features to the verse. 315, so you can go up and loot individual characters. Anything on the ground you can pick up. So I saw this particular person, immediately curious, wanted to go through and see if you could actually open that inventory. I was a little lost at first because I couldn't. I clicked open, nothing opened, and it might have been just this particular body. It might have been partially through the ground or something. I just wasn't getting the proper access point, but I was having some trouble. Eventually was mashing F and got something to come out, and it gave me the forest boots off of them. I was wondering what the hell is this box, so I was just sitting there trying to place it, drop it, wouldn't let me equip it. Reason why it wouldn't let me equip it is because I was wearing an undersuit. I realized that a couple minutes later after just being dumb, that probably just any physical inventory you pick up is going to turn into that box. At least that's my take, or what I gather from it anyway. So get over here to this other body. I'm having a little trouble again trying to get the button in the right spot so I can actually click it. None of it was working. You move around a little bit, so you may have to fuss a little bit with it. I'm hoping they polish that up a little bit at least, but for now you'll have to do that. As you can see, when I went to equip the leg armor, it did put it in a box temporarily, but it did automatically put it on. I realized that and started figuring out what was going on, what I was doing wrong. So I just started going through and snaking this guy's armor since he doesn't seem to need it anymore. Um, Now, you do have to have armor. Well, I say have to. I highly recommend having armor in every district, just because in case if you die and you have your spawn point there, right now you just wake up with a gown. You don't want to have to be tasked with going to get armor and everything if you're in a hurry to do something at that time, like you died mid bounty and it's a timed bounty or something like that. But basically, getting back at the task at hand here, after going through searching all these bodies, I did go through and looked around the different fragments of the ship that were still remaining and the ground itself to locate some of these boxes that may be spread out. As you can see here, there's tons of them. I feel like more now than there ever was in 3.14. It might just be me being excited for it, but that is, it seemed like there was a ton because I was finding box after box after box. It was a caterpillar after all, it seemed. Eventually had enough to basically build a wall in the back of the ship, and you can't sell each one of these, so it kind of gives you just little added cash for your efforts and gives you a chance to kind of search around, check things out. Did get back to picking this up. I always do this last just because it does start a countdown timer on you when you pick these up. But reason why I do the search missions, they pay a little better than the delivery missions. All 4 of them are in one spot. You don't have to drive all over the place, which it might be your thing, or sometimes I do it just so you get to visit other places. But basically, you just pick up, with the search mission, you just pick up these 4 boxes. Once you pick the first one up, you can see that little timer on it there. That gives you like a 13-minute window, and you just got to crush these out quick. Basically, they're, well, like I said, all 4 in the same spot. You just go grab them. You don't have to search for the boxes or loot the bodies. As you get further into it, we probably won't be looting as much anymore anyway. But basically, do that. Go drop these 4 off in our little box receptacles and repeat until you have enough cash to do what you want. For my case, I only did one of these missions just to make sure everything kind of seemed fine, aside from looting, which I expected to be a little buggy, seeing as how it's brand new. So now's where we get into one of the bugs that I definitely don't like right at the moment, and that is with the prospector. So you currently get stuck in the seat when you try to exit. I was doing some testing and trying to exit without the backpack on, without armor on at all. Nothing seemed to work. And once you get out of the seat, you can't get back into it either if you wanted to, like try to move or do something. So you're just stuck there until the ship gets impounded, or you get tired of it, backspace and kill yourself, whatever you end up doing to get out of this situation. So what I started to do to actually mine with the ship still and not have to worry about getting out is I just started letting it get impounded. This is a pain in the butt because you get charged $5,000, and as you're trying to make money, you're just getting charged money, so it's kind of a win-loss, but you got to get the job done. That was one of the best ways I found so far. Now, more recently, I did find that you can get lucky and sprint. If you sprint at the back of the seat and jump and hit prone at the same time, eventually you will fall. Sometimes you can do it in a couple of seconds. Sometimes you're there until the ship gets impounded anyway. So it's just, if you're running Contanium, it might just be best to let it get impounded and just know that your ship's gonna be there. All you gotta do is come over to the console, pay your fine, and your ship will be in storage. You can go grab the refined materials out of it at that point. Other than that, everything was okay. One thing I did notice, this dude forgot his torso. You'll see a bunch of characters like this where they're just, you don't see anything but a floating head and a pair of boots walking around. They all have a mining tool drifting below them that you can pick up. Another thing I noticed, the rental fees went down, so that's a good thing. They're down a little bit, at least in the PTU right now, so you can get those a little cheaper than you would normally. Another item is these consoles here. I believe you used to be able to get mining materials like mining heads for the ship and modules for the miners themselves. That is no longer here. I believe you can get the multi-tool attachment, but you cannot get that from these consoles. All that is available at this particular refinery anyway are 2 size 2 mining heads that are on the wall and 1 size 1. None of them are particularly good for mining Quantanium. At least the size 1 is terrible. terrible for it. So I did not feel like trying to go and find where the right shop was at this time. I wasn't even thinking of it until I realized you couldn't buy them from here, so I just bought this one. It didn't do justice. I pretty much did 2 rounds with it and immediately went and bought the Lancet again, just because it was very unstable trying to work with the Quantanium with that laser head. Another thing I noticed is they're putting mining equipment inside of the local inventory at the city. It's weird because the rest of the ship equipment does not, like when you buy guns and stuff. So that was another little weird thing. But we pushed through, tried to mine with that mining head anyway. We got the job done, but it was a little ugly. Ended up almost blowing ourselves up several times. After rolling the dice for a little bit, we did eventually go and try to find the Lancet. Mining head, I believe we picked ours up over by New Babbage. It might not be in New Babbage, it might be at the port itself, but we were over in that vicinity, I can't remember exactly, and found the Lancets and, started mining with that later on. But you just try to find those to start to save yourself some headache. Moving on here, did notice that the menu display was a little glitchy. You can see on the screen it's all jittery. It is not my PC. Like, everything else is fine. That is just something they added. Like, maybe it's been there like that, just it's worse now, or I'm just noticing it finally. I don't know. There's this knickknacks tab that's been added as well. You can see your various inventories that are designated at certain locations, I guess was the intention behind it. Obviously your local inventory has been removed from the mobile glass because that is now under the your actual inventory system that they just produced. Here's another issue I've been encountering quite a bit. This did happen in 3.14, but the gathering of NPCs at major doorways and hallways and things of such like that. It's happening in all cities. One other small thing, this might just be me, but it could, like I said, like a desync issue or something. But I ended up falling through an elevator. It was rendered in at the time that I got into it. It was when it started moving. I seemed to have fallen out the door or something like that. But basically, I got stuck down here. I only had this happen to me once, so like I said, it could just be a desync issue. But other than that, I hope that this helps somebody. There's several other changes out there, like medical. We'll probably get into that in a separate video, and but for now, I just kind of wanted to do a basic rundown. My first assessment is raw. Like, it just, I don't know. I'm excited for it. I'm confident that it'll be great when it gets released, or a good release. I haven't been here very long to see as much as some of you have, but this is definitely exciting for me. So I hope this helps others, and please like, comment, subscribe if you're into it, and hope I catch you all in another one.